All right, so this recording is talk about how I use the fair value gap, and of course also talk about the inversion fair value gap. So like I said in my former fair value gap class, that's the introduction, I said to identify the fair value gap you need three candles. Okay, three candles. You check the wick, the lower wick of the upper candle, for example, using this candlestick right here, the lower wick of the upper candle and the upper wick of the lower candle. Okay, so leaving a gap, if they leave a gap in the middle candle, that gap is known as your fair value gap. Okay, and I said these fair value gaps, they can be used as demand or supply zone and supply zone. Okay, they can be used as demand, they can be used as supply. Used as demand in the sense that price can come, if price is buying, it can come back into the fair value gap to use it as a buy entry, as a buy point of interest. Okay, using it as a supply, price can come back into the fair value gap to use it for sell continuation. All right, for example, here you can see how price sold aggressively, leaving a fair value gap in this candle, then price bought a bit to come back inside the fair value gap and then sell continuation. Okay, so one of the major things that I use fair value gap for is that I use it to check the aggressiveness of a trend. Okay, for example, if price taps into my entry, let's take for example now, um let's say price taps into this fair value gap. All right, what I'm expecting as price taps into it is that price forms aggressive, is that price becomes aggressive in the first few candles after tapping into this point of interest. If price don't form aggressive candles that create fair value gap, then there is a problem. Price will likely come back into that entry, or price will take out that entry. So if you look at this now, for example, this engineer liquidity, all right, on EUR/USD into this fair value gap, and after price took out the engineer liquidity low, you can barely see a fair value gap on these candles. But what happened? So price came back into the fair value gap, the actual POI, and the first few candles, price started forming fair value gap. You can see that. So this fair value gap is a signal that okay, there is aggressiveness on this new trend that is going to be formed. For example, as my entry is 1 hour now, I can go to 30 minutes to check for my aggressiveness. Okay, you can see what happened there. Price created an aggressive candle that formed a fair value gap here, and then price used it as a buy continuation. So even if you miss your entry from the actual entry here, you can use this place as continuation for the buy. Okay, and as price prints more candle, more fair value gap followed it. So this is one of the things that I use my fair value gap to. The price taps into my entry, I always look out for a fair value gap as price leaves my entry, because that aggressiveness will show me that okay, the side that I'm facing is in control. Like how price taps into this point of interest now. All right, price taps into the point of interest, and then leaving the point of interest, price created an aggressive candle that formed a fair value gap. And then furthermore, fair value gap followed. All right. So if price don't create a fair value gap immediately after taking your entry, there is a problem. You can see that after price engineered this low, there was no fair value gap around here. Price is not forming any fair value gap around here. This is a sign of weakness, all right? But price still came back and took out this low. What happened after price took out this low? A bullish engulfing candle in this 30-minute time frame was formed with a fair value gap. Okay, although the fair value gap was not aggressive enough, but it was a sign that okay, there are possibility that this trend is likely going to play out. The first few candles after price taps into your entry, always pay attention to it. If there are no fair value gaps, price will likely come back into that your entry, or it will take out that entry. But if there are fair value gap, that is a signal that okay, your new trend or the side that you're facing is likely going to play out. All right. So what happens when the fair value gap is not respected? What happens when the fair value gap is not respected? So for example, now let's say we have a fair value gap around here. Okay, around here, and price broke without reacting. Okay, price broke it without reacting. But the fact that price did not react immediately doesn't mean that it may not react in the future. Pay attention to that particular zone. Pay attention to it. Okay, so price can come back from that zone to that zone and use it for continuation. Okay, they can come back to that fair value gap zone. So if the fair value gap failed to react at the first time that price is passing it, it becomes an inversion fair value gap. It becomes an inversion fair value gap. All right, so price can still pass it again the second time before coming back the third time and reacting. Okay, so it doesn't mean that because price failed to react to it the first time that price will not react to the zone again. Just mark out the zone. All right, for example, if you look at this, what's happening here, this current market, you will see a fair value gap here that price failed to react to. You can see that later on price came and then reacted from it, from the zone. Look at it, an inversion fair value gap. All right, so this fair value gap, it was fair value gap before price passed it. Because it failed to react, it became an inversion fair value gap. So you can see when price now reacted, passed it the first time, second time, and even tried to pass it even the third time before it reacted. So this is a clear example of an inversion fair value gap. A fair value gap that failed to react at the first attempt. It can even be in the second one. It can even be the third time. But the most important thing for you to do as a trader is to pay attention to that particular fair value gap zone in case price is coming again. All right, so let's check for another example. If you look at this fair value gap now, you look at this fair value gap that was formed, it became an inversion fair value gap because price did not, when price created this fair value gap, it's when price sold, it did not react the first time. The second time price passed it, it did not react. The third time price passed it, did not react. It's the fourth time that price now came back into that zone that price now reacted. Although there is still a fair value gap in front, but if you use an inversion fair value gap to still take this trade, you will still be able to make profit from this trade. All right. So the fact that price did not react at the first time, it doesn't mean that that fair value gap has become invalid. All right. Pay attention to it, and you will be able to make something out. If you look at this fair value gap, that I mean this price action that happened there, this fair value gap, inversion fair value gap at the back is where price actually reacted from. Look at it. So if you pay attention to this, you can see this fair value gap, price ignored it and sold, ignoring the fair value gap that is here. So when price was retracing back, it used this zone to now sell instead of reacting to buy at the first attempt. It now came back to use it for sell. All right, that is inversion fair value gap. The fact that it did not react the first time doesn't mean if price is passing that zone again, it will not react. Okay,